Dawn Daze on 101 TKO Radio in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yes, Lord, yes, Lord.
We have liftoff.
What it is, what it ain't, man. Everything is love, everything is love. Even the hate. I pray everybody out there being great, you know what I'm saying? Everybody,
Okay,
we
boss.
have a due diligence to embrace each and every day. So as we continue with another week of Moonwalking with Dawn Daze,
Yes, Lord.
stay steady through that pressure, you know?
That's what it's all about, you know. Apologies for a little bit of CPT today, color people time. CPT is big in Atlanta because everybody late. It's just something you gotta accept. You're gonna sit in that traffic, and today was definitely one of those days. Leaving the city was backed up, but we love Atlanta nonetheless. Couldn't imagine us living anywhere else. I know they say LA traffic is pretty bad. I've experienced Houston traffic for myself, but there's definitely something special about that Atlanta traffic. So respect to everybody out there on the airways that is dealing with that, whether it's on a daily basis or right now. We feel ya.
DC, Maryland, Virginia, we hold the #1 spot. We have the worst traffic, so.
Really?
Yeah, of course, of course.
Mm.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Around 3, 4 o'clock.
Yeah, that corridor, whether you're trying to get into DC or go to Virginia, like you work in DC, okay, yeah,
Come
that
on
makes
now.
sense.
I mean, think about how big DC is and how many people commute in and out of the city. So
I don't be thinking about that part. Like I just,
yeah.
you know, it's not my neck of the woods. But
Clearly not, because you left us out again.
I
Houston
did.
is like, Atlanta is like, really DMV and LA, I think are the worst.
Really.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm glad I haven't experienced DMV traffic in person, but clearly it's something I need to.
Atlanta really not that bad.
Really?
It's really not that bad.
Excuse me. He from the DMV also. They built a little different out there. Excuse me.
You excuse. You excuse. You're talking funky, so I gotta put you in check.
Oh my god. So yes, so of course you are Moonwalking with Dawn Daze. When we first start off the show, we always want to talk about our adventure of the week. So definitely want to shout out to Underground Atlanta. That was a super dope experience to go there for the True Colors Music and Taste Festival this past weekend. Got to meet some amazing artists, experience some really great shows and music. So I personally definitely enjoyed the vibes. We did have to deal with a bit of, you know, Mother Nature doing her thing, and the TKO radio team, you know, really had some real life bonding with each other and Mother Nature, because that wind and the rain, and at one point, I mean, we were like, is it going to be a tornado? Like, it was really coming down at one point, even like a little hail, a little bit of, you know, small pellets. So yeah, everybody that's, you know, in this season of trying to have these outdoor events and festivals, you know, it'd be hard, right? Because you can't control Mother Nature, but we definitely stuck it out and stuck it through. So it was definitely a cool experience.
Yeah, because you held it down hard by yourself. Shout out to Mickey Dawn. She held down the entire tent by herself.
I actually didn't. I sat looking cute while the men handled it. Amir was one of the men that handled it.
Oh no, you know, well, me, I ain't do nothing. According to you.
I literally never said that. I don't even know where he's getting this narrative from, y'all. I never said he didn't do anything. Like,
It's all
he's
good.
tripping right now.
It's all good. Again, the only places I trip is the international destinations. So, intergalactic more specifically. But again, it's all good. You can act brand new.
Baby, when did I say that? When did I say that you wasn't holding?
I don't know, you belittle the work I was putting in, you know what I'm saying? My right shoulder a little tight, and I don't really feel like you gave me my just due and respect of how I was holding it down quite literally.
Baby, I told you that in the
Didn't
moment
move
you
the
told me.
entire time. It's okay, it's okay,
Like,
it's okay.
he really
I'm
like
used to
standing on
not
this.
being, you know what I'm saying, acknowledged and respected
Oh my
for the things I do. So again, everybody out there, this is what we talk about. We Harlem Shake with pressure. When we still strive for greatness, even when there's some, you know what I'm saying, hate going on
The
around.
hate doesn't come from over here.
Okay, you say so.
He is not, you know, speaking on behalf of me in the way that I think is the truth.
I think you missed the work I was putting in. That's all I'm saying.
Baby, I did see. It was because of you I didn't get all wet. I was protected
Okay.
because of my boo-boo. Come on now.
All I know is
This guy.
it's just a fact of the matter. Again, it's something that I'm accustomed to. You don't do things for the recognition. You do things because it's the right thing to do.
Exactly. So why were you even?
Because it's the truth. Because it's the truth. Because you can lie to the people, but you try to joke and you try to again minimize, the work that I put in. But it's okay.
Even that, what you're referencing, was taken out of context. I was not minimizing. So we're gonna let this one go. Shout out to Daze. Shout out to
Nelson. Sometimes you gotta go
shout out to
Underground Railroad.
Underground Railroad.
We was at the underground, and sometimes you gotta go through the darkness to get to the light. So that's the moral of the story.
Okay, baby. I love our relationship. He is a funny guy. He's a funny guy. Cause I promise y'all, I was not playing this man. I gave him his flowers. Even the moment when he started acting like I wasn't, I was like, baby, what are you talking about? I never ain't spoken those kind of things to you. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you. My bag stayed dry. My back stayed dry. I was content. I didn't have to worry about it. Ain't nobody belittling you, baby. Baby. What did you think of Underground?
It was cool. I mean, we clearly had some inclement weather that affected the experience, but it was cool.
Yeah. I liked going inside and really seeing, what they're building there and what they've already had there. That was my first time for real going inside of Underground and really seeing all the different businesses, and the restaurants and just realizing whoa, this is vast. There's so much to be tapped in. So I don't act like I'm from here. I don't, I'm from Houston. That's where I was raised. So for me to know the glory days of Underground, I'm still being educated on it. So it was just really cool to be able to go there and see it for myself. And again, I can only imagine what it was like in its heyday. So it's just cool that they're bringing it back now and being intentional with having events and using it as a public venue.
A lot of history. Definitely have heard the narratives around how it transformed, being a major destination. In the 90s, shout out to the freaknik energy that would make its way to Underground.
Mm-hmm.
But, again, things transform. And clearly, homelessness and poverty are major issues that we need to continue to acknowledge and address. So, shout out to the revitalization of the Underground.
Yeah. Big shout out to my grandparents, Grand and Dear. Shout out to y'all, because they was living in Atlanta during that time when Underground was underground. So they definitely told stories. Shout out to Skittles and Chelsea here at the radio station that kind of gave us some insight too. They were pointing that store used to be the most popular shoe store, and over there was where I went to get all my back to school clothes. So it's just cool perspective. I would like to see more places like that are just getting, creative with how they're bringing other businesses together. Shameless plug, Privy Stonecrest, where we are coming at you live right now, is another example of, Black entrepreneurship being on the forefront and, not only just respected but also celebrated. So that is a definitely cool part. I'm just looking forward to more and more places like that popping up and, intentionally giving all of us opportunity to share, and promote ourselves, promote our business, work together. So there's going to be some cool people coming on the show over the next month, from all these great experiences we've had in our adventures. So definitely make sure you keep it locked here. Not only will you be moonwalking with Dawn Daze, but also some really great artistpreneurs that we respect as well.
Is that right? Like who?
I don't want to give it away. Just let the people see how things progress. So I see Daze is kind of looking up some stuff that has to do with some hip hop artists. Shout out to August being the kind of birth month, right, of hip hop, August 11th. So big respect to that. We're still celebrating 50 plus years of hip hop. It's amazing. Is there
No, you can do one.
That's all I was passing up to you. Okay. He has some stuff that I thought he was about to share, but I'm not sure what the plan is, so I'm gonna let him reveal when he is ready. Um, as far as other adventures, you know, we had a good weekend. Also, just chilling. I love making sure that we get some good video game time in together. Just be able to spend time together as a couple. So we're prioritizing that. For those of you that don't know, we have our 5-year anniversary coming up. Whoop, 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 on the 24th. So that's a beautiful thing. 5 years of Dawn Daze, 5 years of our relationship. So we're very excited to be able to celebrate that. On top of that, we're going to have another adventure of going to Six Flags. So that'll be really dope. I'm definitely looking forward to spending the day together and just, you know, being able to celebrate our love and, you know, move like kids again. You know, with some love and respect for our inner child, our inner children. Beautiful. And one more thing that I'll shout out is Paradise Park. That was an amazing experience. Big shout out to Savannah and being able to go there on the 17th. She had an amazing women's retreat that day. We got to eat cuisine straight from her garden. We got massages, feet massages, reflexology. I led a yoga class, a yoga flow. So it was a really nice, just like reset day with other amazing women. Shout out to Blessed Ventures as well. So looking forward to more partnership opportunities to come and, you know, things that we'll be hosting in conjunction with them at Paradise Park. But if you are curious on learning more, it's Paradise Park ATL. And they've got some really awesome things that they're doing over there and still developing, you know, more and more that they plan on adding on. So that's exciting.
So you're getting more involved in the yoga space. Don't you have a moment tonight?
Yep, I will be teaching my first yoga class at Elevation Yoga downtown in the Midtown area. We're going to be doing a warm yin class for 60 minutes. So it's going to be really nice. It's at 8:30 tonight. Anybody that's listening in Atlanta, come on down. Elevation in the Midtown area. For those of you who don't know, yin is so you know yin and yang. So yin is the feminine side, our softer side, and yang is the masculine side, our high energy side. And so when someone says that they're going to be teaching or going to a yin yoga class, it's all about tapping in to our feminine energy, our calming energy, our nurturing side. So it'll be a warm class and restorative and lots of poses where we're stretching it out and working through our emotions. So I'm really excited to not only lead the class, but like just experience it for myself too. So more to come with Mickey LaDon and Evolution with it. And of course, yoga classes offered here at Pretty Stonecrest through Lions Cage MMA. Those are available now online. So tap in with us. Is there anything else you want to share, Daze? So, if anybody on TikTok or on Instagram has anything they want to ask us or share, definitely open space for you all's input and addition. Safe space to add anything, ask anything. We are here for conversation. So, Daze, what you looking up over there?
It's for the music segment.
Okay. Anything you want to share with the adventures? Anything exciting about we're about to have our 5-year anniversary? You want to share anything about that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just kind of letting you, lead the way. It's been a, big conversation and narrative around, how the woman does all the work. And you do majority of the work, so just kind of embracing that and letting you embrace that space.
Maybe let's not push that narrative. That's not a narrative that I live with, and you know the context of what I'm speaking to, and I bring that up to you. So this is not to do that right now.
Oh, I'm sure.
Let's do the show together.
Oh, no, but it's all good. telling your story.
Yeah. So we're hosting the show together. That's what it's about. And the narrative that he's speaking to is a very specific context, and I don't think it's appropriate right now. We can be honest about what we go through, right? What we go through is the need for transparency with each other, the need for supporting each other when we feel like things are getting hard. And so when I bring it up to him, that's in the privacy of our relationship and conversation, and bringing it up on the airways just is not how I would have approached it, and not necessarily what I was seeking to do when I brought it up. So Daze, I get what you're doing, but I also, am not too crazy about it, if I'm being honest. I'm not sure why you didn't have to do that. Oh, y'all. This is real life. This is relationships. I'm not sure why Daze is, carrying it this way. I feel like it's not fair to either of us right now. And this is meant to be something that we're doing together. So him choosing to be silent is making it hard on me. So we're being vulnerable about what this experience is like right now.
I've been chilling. I don't really know what you're talking about. You were leading the conversation. There's nothing really interesting that I see going on. So feel free to express yourself. This is the open space. Because I've just been
some questions.
I've just been chilling.
I've already asked you a couple questions that we didn't want to answer. So this is meant to be something we're doing together. I pass things off to you intentionally.
All right, you can talk about your experiences with Beacon.
Well, I've already asked you a couple questions that I would prefer that you would speak to right now. We can get into that later out of respect for time. Like the fact that we have a 5-year anniversary coming up. I spoke on it. You didn't speak on it. You want to share?
Yeah, in due time. I was kind of, letting things flow, letting you, kind of speak to anything you wanted to speak to, especially with your audience, and any folks. Shout out to Brandon in the TikTok chat. But yeah.
I've already done that.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, this is a beautiful, beautiful moment and chapter. I think to just reveal what's clear, and we see it consistently that you gotta be ready in all situations. So yeah, I'm pretty just happy and humble just to continue striving and moving forward, especially when again you gotta root for yourself and stay at peace. So that's just kind of the whole energy that I've been embodying.
Absolutely. Protect your peace. Always going to encourage that. Anybody else? So we appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in as we kick off the show. For now, let's get into some music vibes, and we'll be back with more. You're Moonwalking with Dawn Daze on 101 TKO.
The average chameleon can point their eyes into
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. You are Moonwalking with Dawn Daze on 101 TKO Radio. We're here, August 22nd, another beautiful Thursday. And staying tapped in. Staying tapped in with that moonwalking energy.
Absolutely.
One time for Beat King, as I mentioned in the previous segment. A Texas legend. I'll go ahead and let Mickey LaDawn speak to her experiences since she's the Texan in the room.
Is there anything you want to share?
Ladies, sorry.
Sure. So, big shout out to B King and his family, in particular his daughters. We did see in the headlines that his daughters were able to be there with him when he took his final breath, so that's good, at least that they were able to be there for their father. So tragic that something could happen like that so suddenly, so make sure you're taking care of your health, make sure you're taking care of your mental, your physical, your spiritual health, and keeping your vibration high as much as possible. I feel like it was a pulmonary embolism, yes. He had a pulmonary embolism, and for those of you guys that don't know, it's a blood clot that gets stuck in the artery in the lung, which blocks blood flow to part of the lung. So it can be seen as shortness of breath, or even if you have varicose veins in your legs, chest pain and cough. So definitely make sure you're taking care of yourself. Pulmonary embolism is something that is common, and when you're diagnosed, especially if they find it late, it can be, hard to recover from. So the life expectancy, once it happens very suddenly after, as we saw with B King. And it does come down to lifestyle, be mindful of what prescription drugs you're taking and what mixture you're doing, however you might be affecting your lungs in lack of exercise or from excessive smoking or drinking, that will also affect your lungs capacity. So make sure you guys are taking care of yourselves. This again is a very sad situation, because it seemed as though B King was healthier, right? He had lost a lot of weight recently, but weight loss is not always the best measurement of health. So again, so much love to his family, so much love to everybody that loves him across the country, across the globe. B King's music touched a lot of spirits and a lot of lives for a variety of reasons, right? And when I heard, pulmonary embolism, it definitely made me think of my grandmother, and she had pulmonary fibrosis, which was also something of a disease of the lungs. So my whole life, I remember watching her. My experiences with her was she had a oxygen tank. She needed that to, do her everyday activities, and was in a wheelchair. So I saw that at a young age, and as a child, obviously I didn't know what I was seeing, but it is very interesting how, the idea of pulmonary, which is again something to do with the lungs, comes back full circle. And as a singer, definitely don't take lung health lightly. We all have our own internal battles that we go through. Mine is definitely something that has to do with autoimmune, and pulmonary fibrosis is autoimmune. I would not be surprised if a pulmonary embolism has to do with autoimmune as well. So again, y'all, to prevent anything related to autoimmune, it always comes back to how you take care of yourself, what you're putting in your body mentally, physically, spiritually, and being so mindful of how you're taking care of your physical health and the energies that you surround yourself with. It does make a difference. So yeah, I thought it was important to mention that, especially when we're talking about health and something like this happening so tragic, and so sudden. As a Houston shawty, when I first got the news, I literally gasped. Like, it was because of another radio station, 97.9 The Box, and their text blast that I got the news. So when I saw it, I was like, oh my God. And I think it was exactly a week ago now. So it still is a little surreal, right, to realize that he is, with the ancestors now. And again, big shout out to his daughters and everyone that loved him. I did get the chance to meet B King when I was younger, back in my outside Houston days. It was back in 2016 when I had first crossed. AKA, and a lot of my line sisters were out at this popular spot in Houston. I feel like it was Prospect Park. But I could be wrong. But it was definitely in that area because I lived close to over there because my dad lived over there, which is why I decided to go. And don't do this at home, kids. This is not okay. But one of my line sisters threw their ID over the balcony of the outdoor patio so that I could catch it and use their ID to get inside because I was not 21 yet. I had just turned 19, and I just wanted to be outside with my line sisters, right? There were a couple of us that were underage. I'm not going to mention their names either, but we used pretty much shared IDs with our line sisters of whoever we were. We looked alike, right? So again, don't do that at home, kids. It's not. It's not what you're supposed to do, right? But yeah, so that's how I got inside, and that was my first time really at a club or at a lounge of that type. At all. It was my first exposure to it. And so my line sisters, were telling me things that in hindsight probably wasn't the best, of how to pull men and things like that. I'm sure you guys have heard it. Like you get a man's number, get him to buy you a drink, and then you block him later or things like that. It was all new to me at that point in time. So at one point, I'm dancing on the floor, and I didn't realize this, but B King was also hosting at the lounge club that evening. And he saw me in the crowd, and he pointed me out, and he was like, "Hey, you, come up on stage, come back behind the DJ booth." I was like, "Oh my gosh, wow." Again, first time outside. And then someone asked me to come to the DJ booth. So I brought one of my line sisters with me, shout out to Micah, and she's also another great music artist as well. So we got behind there, talked to him. He was kind of just like, "Where y'all from?" Told him where we were from. He's like, "How old are y'all?" I was honest. I told him the long-winded, I'm actually 19, but I use my da-da-da. Just completely told him myself. And then he was like, "Let me get y'all a Snapchat. I'll keep you posted on other things coming up. Y'all can just hang out back here. You need anything, need drinks, let me know." So that was cool. That was definitely cool. And stayed connected with B King through Snapchat every now and again, saying what's up. But nothing ever really transpired. But it's just so interesting because I think a lot of girls in Houston have stories similar to mine. A lot of line sisters and my Neos have stories similar to mine with interacting with B King. And I wouldn't even say, I wouldn't put a label like he was weird about it at all. Like I was clearly under 21 and he was respectful about it for the most part. And if I'm being honest, right, I didn't really care that much that there was an age difference. So I'm not going to even push that one there. Oh, shout out my line sister. Shout out to Jordan that just came through on TikTok. She knows the story. But yeah, big shout out to B King. Big shout out to everyone that respected him and loved him. Always gonna love his music. The way it just gets you. Yeah, exactly, Jordan. She said same. The way that he would get the body moving and know how to, just make a good beat. Really big respect to B King for sure. Yeah, he was cool. He was definitely cool. I love that you came in right at this point, Jordan. It's so funny. But yeah, that's my B King story. Make sure you're all taking care of yourselves. Keep your mental health high. Be mindful of the energy you surround yourself with. Take care of your body. Autoimmune is not something to play with. Your lungs are not something to play with, y'all.
Absolutely. As far as B King and how you'll remember his legacy, how are you going to keep his legacy alive?
I love that. I love you too, sister. I keep his legacy alive. Club guy said, "Poke that." No, but for real, I will keep his legacy alive through the music. I genuinely do enjoy his music. All this past weekend, a lot of the Atlanta DJs, all of the radio stations were playing B King, and it was just really refreshing. It definitely reminds me of Houston when I hear his music. So I'm gonna definitely continue to champion just good music. The words is one thing, but it was really the beat. It was really how he found a good formula with the beats that he chose and the repetitive nature of them and how you can't help but want to, move your hips, right? So that's how I'll keep this legacy alive. What about you, Daze?
I'll go ahead and read something from his girlfriend.
How about that?
She says, "I don't know if this makes it real. I don't know if this helps or hurts me. I don't know what version of him everyone got, but I know I got to love, laugh, and live with the best version of him. Over everything, he's my bestest friend, my biggest supporter. He called me his superstar. We prayed, we pranked each other. Literally was just two big ass kids. I've questioned life. I've doubted my strength through this. I haven't been eating and barely sleeping. I don't know how I'm functioning. I'm crying because I know he was ready. He was happy, he was loved. This has to be the hardest thing I've ever had to do. Was watch you leave me. I fought and fought, but God wasn't letting up. I know you're with your mom. And finally, moonwalking with our favorite, Michael Jackson. I see everyone's prayers and encouraging words. It's helping more than you know. Send me any videos and photos you have of us or him. I posted this for y'all because if you know us, you know he want me to keep going. He said, man, stop crying and drop all that music. I love y'all and he loves y'all. Until we meet again. She calls him Big Daddy. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the club, Godzilla.
Wow, that's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. I can't even imagine losing you, baby. Like, so suddenly, anyway, it's hard, right? But it's just, my heart definitely goes out to someone that loses a partner and loses a lover. It's a special type of pain. So my heart definitely goes out to her. I also want to shout out that we've got North Star General in the building right now. So big respect to the family in the building. What's up? What's up? Thank you for the gifts. Much appreciated. But yeah, my heart goes out to her. What's her Instagram for the people?
Talameshia. TALAMESHIA.
Queen.
Talameshia.
Huh.
Life is ever so precious. Time is of the essence.
So how are you keeping his legacy alive, love?
Well, it's definitely a unique situation because of how I got introduced to him. So, just staying true. Remembering that he was a man that was doing his best. And the best way I can honor any soldier that's risen, especially feeling like before that time, is to keep on doing well.
I love that. I love that. If y'all have anything y'all want to share, whether you're on Instagram or TikTok, definitely pass it in. I want to also, one of my former colleagues and bosses back in the day when I was still interning and learning all that marketing stuff, she recently lost her lover, her husband, to cancer this past weekend as well. So, it's just a certain heaviness, like I said, when you lose someone that you hope to build a life with and have kids with, or hope to eventually have kids with, or just build a household together. So, my heart goes out to everybody, no matter how you might have related to a loved one, whether you were directly, related to them, or they're someone that you chose to love, they were your chosen family. If you're going through mourning right now, we send healing and we send love to you. On Saturday, when I was at Paradise Park, a big part of what I was meditating on and experiencing through the women's retreat was the love and acceptance of the fact that my furry friend, my furry bestie, Cody Bear, who lived to be 17 years old and passed away on the 17th of last year, of August. He joined the ancestors, got his wings, all that. So it was exactly a 1-year anniversary of that on Saturday. So that was a big part of what I was meditating on. Hey, when you lose a furry animal, like sometimes that can hurt on a different type of level, right? And I know it definitely was a special type of mourning and pain. And part of the hindsight was that not only was I mourning the pain and loss of, my dog and my furry best friend growing up, but also a bit of mourning the transition of me into adulthood, right? That old version of me passed away with him as well. And a new one is flourishing in that part of the acceptance and mourn and go through loss. That's also part of the cycle of life, right? We allow new versions of us to take place, and the lessons that those that we love, that are with the ancestors now, that are our angels now, what they teach us in this new idea and version. So definitely want to make sure I shout that out too.
Big salute, big salute. Man, rest in peace to B King. Rest in peace to our fluffy family, Cody. Rest in peace to Nipsey. You know what I'm saying? B King went to heaven the same day as Nipsey's birthday.
Yeah.
So definitely hometown hero energy. And one love to Big Cuzzo. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to long live. We here, man. Moonwalking with Dawn Daze on 101 TKO Radio.
Yeah. What's up? Welcome back to Moonwalking with Dawn Daze on 101 TKO Radio. So before the break, we were definitely honoring those that we love, those that have joined the ancestors. In particular, shouting out Beat King. That was exactly 1 week ago today. Also, 1 week ago today was Nipsey's birthday. So we read some of his partner's thoughts and what she was feeling, Beat King's partner, Kalamisha. She even shouted out that Michael Jackson was their favorite and that Beat King is moonwalking in heaven with Michael Jackson. So it feels so potent and real to make sure that we read that and bring that up. So I'm glad Daze found that post. Because that's what Moonwalking with Dawn Daze is all about. Honoring those that we love, honoring spirituality, and honoring our truth within. And those that, you know, are our angels now, they're a big part of what motivates us and kind of where the idea of moonwalking comes from, right? Is we're moonwalking through the pressure. Moonwalking means, you know, rising above. Moonwalking means, you know, grinding in a way that feels like you're honoring your creative gifts and spirits. So, shout out to Dancing Fingers that just joined in. Appreciate all the love that we're getting on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube. We see you. We appreciate you. Big shout out to people from all walks of life, all different chapters of our lives that are, you know, joining the space with us right now. Big shout out to Leah from my high school days. Shout out everybody in the building. My mom and sister was here. We're grateful that everybody is coming in to support in the ways that they do.
Every time. When we talk about moonwalking, different. I see, just as a protector sometimes, you know, you gotta be that guy. You gotta be a punching bag for folks and be the scapegoat for whoever's reasons, you know what I'm saying, just blame it on the guy in the situation. And that's part of what you man up to. You know, I've just been talking to people in your family, your uncle, about that whole dynamic of either dying a hero or living long enough to become a villain. And recognizing that as the enforcer, as a man, as a leader, as a game changer and groundbreaker, people aren't always going to like you. So that's just what it is. It's staying steadfast, it's not getting too caught up in the highs or the lows, and respecting the process and respecting that you got to stay true to you, even if the weather changes.
Shout out to Tamika. Hey Tamika, coming through on TikTok. We appreciate you, Queen. Yeah, very, very real about the perseverance and, you know, not being afraid to be the bad guy or just owning that that's just part of it too. I love this. We get this question often. Where did y'all meet? Thanks for asking that, Leah. We met back in the day in 2018, so, you know, we're reaching our 5-year anniversary of being together, but we met each other a little over 6 years ago in 2018, and we were both working at PepsiCo back in the day. He was working there full time, about to approach his 1-year anniversary, and I came in as a intern. So we met during my intern summer and pretty much just had like this whole summer romance in Harlem that whole summer long, and then reality struck and we had to navigate how we would realistically have a relationship that was long distance, and then ultimately over time, 2019, we found our way back to each other. There was that whole separation that Daze was speaking to for that first half of 2019 where I did not want to speak to him. We had so many different moments that led up to that point, moments that were in his control, moments that were not in his control, that just very much made it so I needed to focus more on myself. And being in a relationship had too much pressure for me at that point in time. I don't think I was all the way mentally ready for that level of true commitment. So I pretty much didn't speak to him for a whole 6 months. But then we rekindled in July of 2019, and officially made our relationship official in August. And then the pandemic hit in 2020, so then we ended up not having to be long distance anymore, and we moved in together. And the love story continues, but we find ourselves here in Atlanta, and we've been living here for 3 years now. So that's just a quick synopsis of our journey here. But yes, we met all the way in 2018 in Harlem at PepsiCo. And Daze had asked me a question on what I believe my contribution has been as a woman to this relationship. And for me, I would say that I've learned a lot about men through this relationship. I think that when you're not intentionally working on being a healthy girlfriend / wife, you don't know exactly what it means to have a healthy boyfriend or husband. So this journey has taught me a lot about my own accountability of being a good partner, and then learning what I actually think is a healthy male counterpart to my divine feminine energy. And so my biggest contributions would be, I mean, you could call it me being a Taurus, so I could be, quite stubborn. Like when I made my mind on something, it is hard for me to change it a lot of times. And so in regards to this relationship, like my resilience and like, no, I want to be here, I want to be in a relationship with you, I'm committed. So I think a big part of my contribution has been my commitment, has been my resilience. My choice every day to say, no, I'm going to be committed to this one person, and I want to stay in this relationship because this is where I feel like is the best place for me. Other contributions, I mean, just my overall feminine essence, right? As women say, just being a woman and being a healthy inspiration for a man is, a strong and healthy contribution. Someone that can give them that dose of inspiration or confidence when times get hard. And I would also say, I learned a lot about what it means to be a partner in terms of like, anytime that he's going through something hard, how can I be there to lift him up? Can I make him a meal? Can I organize the clothes a little bit? Or could I help him give suggestions on how he could love on himself more? Can I give him a massage? Those kind of things that remind a man how to lean more into his own feminine nature, and being that embodiment and example. I'll leave it there. Those are what I say my contributions are. I can keep going, but I feel like that's a good synopsis.
Word up, word up.
What about you, Bill?
I mean, the list goes on clearly on many different levels. It's something I referred to from the very beginning. Being a force to envision and execute upon a life that is aligned with your best version. And that's not something that comes without hard work, without challenge.
Yeah.
So
Having vision.
whether it's, again, the vision or being able to tap into a sense of vicious energy to make it happen. And, not really getting lost in the what ifs, but just being the clear evidence, being the factor, the X factor that brings this to life. Going against, any threats or doubts or hate day in and day out, being a compass, being a just overall energetic gauge for what's required day in and day out to ensure that, the big P's, preach, protect, provide, get executed. And seeking out that spiritual guidance, intentionally bringing us to prayer and making that a major part of our lives, initiating that a great majority of the time. Again, a great majority of the time, again, when it comes down to the pressure of finances, so on and so forth, bearing that weight or burden of, whose fault it is if things don't get done or get executed upon. And yeah, just overall protection, just working on my mind, body, and soul to ensure that forces that might want to be a threat to us don't prevail.
We're getting some good comments. Just shout them out real quick. Dancing Fingers said, honestly, I love this. You are both you have both been honest, and that's the key. Yeah, honesty really is the key, and being honest with self first, so you can be honest in your relationship. And then we have another question. Leah asked, how do y'all communicate when one is not 100% themselves that day? Let me start.
Go for it.
It's a good question. We have, if you like look at our, maybe like make like a pie chart of how we spend our time, right? And there's a big part of it that we spend talking with each other. We have a lot of conversation. That was something that attracted us to each other all the way back in 2018. Wow, you're somebody that sees me. I can have a real conversation with you. I can talk about anything, everything, and nothing with you all at the same time. That's so cool. So I believe that those days when we are not 100% ourselves, we've learned a lot about those additional cues that are not always verbal. Sometimes we might misread, but overall we've gotten pretty good at understanding the nonverbal cues and remembering that, okay, if you're not 100% yourself, that's not 100% my fault, right? A lot of what you might be going through is what you are experiencing, so I'm going to ask you how I can support you, how I can be a partner to you. But once it gets to the point where I realize I can't fix that for you, I have to allow you to go through the day in a way that works best for you in that moment. But how I might support him as a partner is like, let me make sure that there's food available for him. Sometimes all everybody needs is just a good plate of food. Or let me make sure that I'm giving him ample space. Sometimes what he needs is space. Other times what he needs is a hug. And it's just a matter of kind of that trial and error and leaning into the discomfort a little bit. Because sometimes, we feel uncomfortable when someone isn't being 100% themselves. So you want to distance yourself. But sometimes that's the exact opposite of what your partner needs in that moment. Even though they can't verbally communicate it because of what they might be dealing with, it's still your responsibility as their partner to at least try to find some kind of common ground and then have a clear path of like, okay, either I'm going to give you space, I'm going to lean more into talking with you or hugging on you, or I'm going to make an activity that we can, get our mind off of whatever you're feeling, or I'm going to give you some food, right? There's just got to have a little bit of a toolkit of like, okay, what are the different options that I can do to be a support to you?
Yeah, here, I'll build off of that briefly. I mean, essentially, we have many versions of ourselves, and I respect definitely the sentiment that the question was asked, and just as far as, when you're not being your best self, when the person is a unfamiliar version. And, ultimately it definitely comes back to the mirror work, looking at yourself, using the opportunity to learn about yourself through how this person is showing up, and being aware of the toolkit that you have.
Yeah.
A lot of times, you got to bring God into it, in one way, shape, or form. And God comes in many different forms. It comes in nature. It just comes in, the vessels of truth that have been influences on each individual throughout life. So that's where, again, things just get very interesting, because we are different people and we have different strengths and weaknesses. So whenever you're in a partnership with anyone, it's very important to understand yourself as an individual and to value all individuals present, because though we might be capable of similar things, we're not the same.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a journey that you get better with, ideally, with
Yes.
time.
Time.
And you develop a toolkit. And You just try to rise above whatever you're experiencing in the flesh and zoom out.
Yeah, I love that, baby. I'm really glad that bringing God into it and the fact that God is able to be brought in through different avenues. For me, and Daze is really good about knowing this, you want to go for a walk? You know, baby, I do need to go for a walk. That's a great suggestion. Usually that's what I need. I need a walk. Either I need to go walk by myself or we need to go walk together and take the conversation outside so that we have new perspective.
And music is definitely another vessel.
Oh yeah.
You know, that's how I communicated a good majority of the time when, you know, she couldn't stomach the, you know, just into I was